Mongoose Jake here to take a look at the Mongoose Ledge X2. Now, here on the bike channel, what you had seen last of this was, well, first of all, you've seen my video showcasing the Ledge in its stock form, and then my trail tested comparison between it and the Slalom, and then, of course, my thoughts, ideas, and some specs and details about it. And here we are after I've followed through on some of my upgrade ideas. And I'm focusing in here on the front end because, well, you're going to see that immediately. I got rid of the boat anchor of a fork, and this was one of the biggest weight savings. This is just a Bucklos XM, as you can see here. The basic fork, not going to try to make it into what it's not. It's a very basic Chinese-made air fork. But I've been riding this exact same model on my Hyper Explorer hardtail, and it has served me well enough. I don't have complaints. It doesn't have the small bump sensitivity of, say, my Marzaki's, or even Fox, or even RockShox. But it's proven good enough, and that's how I'll rate it. It's good enough for your typical trail riding of green, blue, maybe touching black diamond, but not doing serious jumping. And to pair with that, we'll skip over a couple other things you might notice, but you're going to see Bucklos all over the front here. The bar, the stem, the headset. These were all bought very inexpensively. Of course, if you go to a true tapered steer tube fork, you must replace the headset. These all have a adapted headset because the forks that come on these bikes are straight steer tube, and they're using just a adapted type headset that takes the tapered head tube down to the straight steer tube. It's simple. This Bucklos headset was barely over $10. Simple to drop in, punch out the old cups, and I mean, literally, they just tap out. They're barely in there. But the bar was actually one of the biggest weight savings. Next to the fork, it actually saved me more weight with the bar swap than the shock swap, which we'll get to in a second. This bar saved me 1.01 pounds versus that stock steel bar, which should never exist on a $500 bike, which is what this originally retailed for. Of course, I bought it on sale for $300, but the bar was over a pound lighter. 1.01 pounds, but it's over a pound lighter. So if you have a Ledge, swap the bar. Seriously, go to any bar, even a cheapo like the Bucklos, and you will save a lot of weight. The fork also did save a tremendous amount. I mean, we're talking like over 2 pounds of weight savings, or close to 2 pounds of weight savings right there. So just between these parts here, there was nearly 3 pounds of weight shaved off. And then I mentioned the shock. This Maroka shock is a air adjustable, as you can see right here, but no other adjustments. I only paid $52 for this off of AliExpress. And that alone, again, it saved a little less than a pound, which is shocking, no pun intended, but this saved a little bit less weight than my bar did. This isn't the super light, this is not a super light air shock, but it does offer some adjustability. Like now I'm able to set my sag properly, and this will come back to be one of the only complaints I have, and it's not the shock's fault per se. But also Bucklos related, throw on these camo pedals, and you are seeing a touch of surface rust on each of the traction pins. And I think I'll have to do a specific video on this. I'm going to review all these parts individually. These are just a quick little overview. But yeah, these are just mild steel. So after my first, I think I've got like 5 rides, and then washing this, every time I wash it, there's a little surface rust, and I had to drop some oil on these. But another big thing that I added to the Ledge, Shimano Qs. And now this is a proper Shimano Qs group that I purchased for $67 off of AliExpress. It's the derailleur, cassette, chain, and shifter. It's the 9-speed version, and I did not go with the ultra wide range, as you can see there. That's a 36 tooth on the large end. And I went with the tighter range versus what comes on the Slalom. This is the exact same rear derailleur that comes on the Slalom. And because I remember, the whole point of this was I am trying to keep this budget-friendly upgrades to make the ledge on par or better than the slalom. So, all in, I've got roughly, I actually got the fork. I'll put links to each of these things, if I can remember to, in the description. But I purchased the fork with a coupon code. So the price that you'd see is not the same as what I paid. I got like a 15% off or 10% off coupon, and I bought that directly from Bucklos off their website. Most everything else came through Amazon or AliExpress. I will put the links though. But all in, I've spent $260 roughly on parts, rounding up, rounding down, but about $260 on parts, because each of these parts rounded out to be about $10 even. The stem was only $8. The bar was a little over. I think it was $11 for the bar, $11 for the headset, $8 for the stem, so about $30 all with all three. And then about $95 for the fork, and like $12 for the pedals, $52 for the shock, and then $67 with free shipping on the Q's group set. And I used some housing that I had. So again, about $260. So combined with the price of the bike, about $560 total. And I'm pretty happy with it. I got a few things that I'm going to change down the road. Next thing you'll see is probably some different grips. Probably eventually switch to a dropper, or maybe not on this bike. The Mongoose saddle is surprising me. It's actually quite comfortable. And the wheels are fine. I retensioned them, retrued them. They're doing well now. That was one of my complaints in my initial view, is the wheels. But now, after taking the stock shock, which was oversprung for me, just as the slaloms was, after taking the stock shock off and being able to run about 25 to 30% sag, I'm finding out how active this horse link 4-bar suspension, and yes, it is a true horse link. There's the pivot in front of the axle on the chainstay. That makes a horse link. And 4-bar means that it has a full linkage driving the shock. So my complaint is it's active, very active. It's plush and responsive. Like this suspension tracks over all the little stutter, and it will eat it up. But it also does bob, because this is a very, very basic shock. I've actually had it all the way apart, and it's a extremely basic. It's just an air canister with a piston with some O-rings. I took it apart, looked at it, I was like, man, this is basic. But it's $52 is what I paid. But if you were going to go all in, a platform valve shock would be ideal to cut down on some of the pedal-induced bobbing. But for $560, I have zero complaints. I really do. This bike has grown on me. I've went on 5 rides, and I am absolutely loving the bike. And it's not because I'm a Mongoose guy, as shown in my name. It's a nice, capable, do-it-all trail bike. No, I'm not going to take it on my downhill runs. No, I'm not going to be taking it to the bike park to jump off, 5-foot drops. But for your basic single-track shredder, hard to go wrong doing this. And I guess in the future, I might change out the post for a dropper. I may add some basic hydraulic brakes, but to be honest, these brakes have been pretty good. They're better than the brakes on the slalom. And the comparisons to the slalom will continue in another video. But for now, the upgraded ledge, like smartly upgraded Mongoose ledge. It's a solid bike that I have very few complaints, and I have enjoyed my rides on it. For cheap. It makes you just kind of makes me think that, hey, a lot of us are overbiked. I'm actually just enjoying shredding some trails and having a good time, and I only have $560 into this thing. So, food for thought. And I hope you enjoyed this little glance at it, see what I've done, and I will share all the links to where I found it. Prices have probably changed, and I did use a bunch of coupons and discount codes to get it to where I have it, but I will share everything that I did. So that maybe if you want to replicate it, go for it. If you were going to splurge again, the rear shock is the one place that you might want to splurge a little more than I did. And a platform shock, if you could find one, would be a wise investment. But this is Mongoose saying, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this.